Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a few weeks since my last post. It's just been no movies, no stuff really coming out that I wanted to, but I wanted to do my Premier League preview video. This is the build up to brand new Premier League season, which starts on this Friday coming. I think it's Liverpool v Norwich being the first game. Transfer window shut earlier on today, so all the business is done. All the squads are finalised for the first half of the season, so I wanted to kind of give my thoughts of where I think the Premier League is going to go. I'm going to do like I did last year. I'll tell you where my team, West Ham, are going to I think may finish. I'll give you the bottom three and sort of the top 4/6, how that's going to work out, and then I'll probably throw the cuts in as well at the end. So no further ado, I'll start with West Ham, who have had a very good window once again. Not bringing anybody too high profile in terms of name recognition in England. Obviously last year we brought in Jack Wilshere and a few players like that. This time it's Pablo Fornells, Sebastian Haller, that's how you pronounce it apparently, and a few late additions in the transfer window. I honestly can't pronounce their names, a Portuguese and a Swiss striker. But what I like about West Ham, they've gone about their business. They've got their big players in early. They're players that are proven in other leagues. They're taking a chance on youth as well, like a lot of younger players. And what's been really good, we've really kind of shipped out a lot of the deadwood. Like Arnautovic is gone after his old saga at the middle of last season, and then at the start of this window would have moved to China. That was done pretty convincingly, gone at the window. Get him off the books. Carroll is obviously gone. He's on some big wages as well. He's gone back to Newcastle now. Adrian has gone, which was a bit of a shame because I liked Adrian. He's a good goalkeeper, but he was on first team goalkeeper wages, and he wasn't a goalkeeper that's ever going to start. Not after the season Fabianski had last year. So a good trimming down on the squad. Got some good young youthful players in. I can see what Pellegrini's trying to do after watching a few pre-season games. It's much more that sort of quick interpassing, and if we can keep Jack Wilshere fit, and if Lanzini stays fit for all the season, he's link up with Fornells and Wilshere, and it looks really good. I can see what Pellegrini's trying to do, and I think going forward West Ham look a lot stronger than they did last year, and I think we will score probably quite a lot of goals. The only problem is I think defensively we've not really done a lot. Only added like a young centre back who's probably not going to start very well. It would be more sort of Diop and Balbuena, which will be your main centre back pairing. Didn't get any left backs in. Masuaku will probably be the main starter because he's just got a new deal and everything. Pellegrini seems to like him. I think Fredericks will start more if he stays fit over Zabaleta, because Zabaleta's legs are starting to go. So another year in the Premier League for Fredericks. Hopefully that will shore him up a bit more. But defensively, West Ham still kind of, I don't know, not quite the solid unit that I think they could or should really be to kind of really challenge to go up and break into that top 6 or 7. So I'm thinking maybe with the goals that we should probably try and score, anywhere between sort of 10th and 8th, I think will be a good place for West Ham to kind of again build another season, another sort of building block towards kind of maybe breaking into the top 6 one day. But I will tell you now, if someone said to me, I'll give you 13th or 14th, but you can go win one of the 2 cups, I will grab your hand off, because that's what I want to see, a cup run. I think West Ham really let themselves down last year in the 2 cup competitions, playing some weaker teams when they should have really kind of gone for it, because we had no real issues with relegation or anything like that. So, so moving on to the relegation battle. So moving on to the relegation battle, I think that this is quite hard to predict because there's a lot of teams that I don't think have really strengthened too well that battled last year. So my main ones I'm going to go for: Sheffield United. This is in no particular order anyway. Sheffield United, they're coming up from the Championship. They did really well. They finished second. They picked Leeds, who were the heavy favourites to get automatic promotion, and eventually just fell to pieces. So Sheffield United got in there in second, and they've not really had anybody that I think is going to give them that little bit extra to stay in the league. Phil Jagielka has come back. That's kind of more of a romantic sort of signing. I don't think he's really going to stop a lot of goals going in. They brought in Ravel Morrison, who is a real sort of gamble, unpredictable player. When he was at West Ham, there were moments he looked absolutely amazing, and he looked like he could take on the world. But you hear about all the stuff that goes on afterwards. Hopefully he sorted his attitude out and he can be a good asset for him, because I like him as a player, but his attitude's not there. So he's a gamble. He could go either way. But just all over the park, I don't think Sheffield United have really kind of strengthened enough to solidify themselves as a Premier League team. I think even by January, I think they'll be gone. They'll be too far out of it by that point. Who else? I think Crystal Palace are going to struggle. I predicted them to go down last year and they ended up staying up. But this year as well, they've lost Wan-Bissaka. They managed to keep hold of Zaha, but he's definitely a player that doesn't want to be there now. That you're really going to struggle to kind of motivate and keep him in form because he doesn't want to be there. Like, he's handing multiple transfer requests. He said he wants to go and they couldn't get a deal. Whether it was Palace didn't meet the valuation or they're just trying to keep hold of him, I don't really know, but there's an unhappy player there, and when you get that kind of bleeds into the rest of the dressing room, and especially as we get close to January, he's going to be angling for another move, and that's going to be harder to move him on because all the prices are elevated in January. So if people aren't going to pay the money that Crystal Palace want for him in the summer, it's going to be hard to get anyone to pay you the money for him in January. So I think they're going to struggle. I don't think he's going to be the player that kind of keeps him in it like he did last season. And again, they've not really strengthened. They've brought Cahill in, but similar to Jagielka, I think his best days are gone, so I don't think he's going to do much for them. So Sheffield United, Crystal Palace, and the other team I think is going to be Southampton. Again, not really strengthened. They brought in some good players, some from abroad. None of them I really know, I'm going to be really honest, and a few Championship players. But again, they really struggled last year. And I think they're going to struggle again this year. It could be them or Brighton. I think it's going to be between the two. But I think Southampton, so many years they've just dropped down, lost all their best players. And I think they're going to struggle again this year. I think Brighton may just have enough to keep themselves in it. I think they'll learn the lessons from last year. And I think they'll kind of push themselves forward. They managed to keep most of their team. Changing the manager was a bit of a strange thing after getting rid of Chris Hughton. I thought that was a mistake. But I think Brighton might just have enough. And I think Southampton are going to go down, as well as Palace and Sheffield United. So moving on to the top four. So the top four battle plus who I think is going to win it. I think again is interesting. I can't do top six. I think Chelsea will struggle just for the sheer fact they've not been able to sign anybody and they've lost their best player. Hazard's gone. And they've not been able to replace him. Not that they couldn't, they weren't allowed. On a transfer ban, they managed to get the Pulisic deal done before the ban come into. I think he will add an element, but you're going to struggle to replace what Hazard had for Chelsea. So I think they're going to struggle. I think they still have enough to finish sixth and finish sixth probably quite comfortably. But breaking into the top four is going to be very, very tough because then they've got the Champions League as well, which is going to be a big distraction. Hopefully they give Lampard time. I know there's the whole West Ham Lampard West thing, but from a manager point of view, I hope they give him time. He does have a kind of a ready-made excuse that he's not been able to sign the player. So hopefully, as long as Chelsea aren't battling in sort of like 11th or 12th, I think then he could lose his job. But if they're in that sort of 6th, 5th area, you should at least give him a year, then give him a transfer window, and then go from there. I think Arsenal will just miss out as well. I think they're going to finish 5th because Arsenal have really strengthened going forward. Like they brought Pepe in, Lacazette and Aubameyang really kind of gelling after the whole full season together. In pre-season they've been firing lots of goals. If those three can link up with Ozil, I think Arsenal will score the goals that could get him into the top four. The only problem is I think they're going to concede goals that could potentially, most bottom half teams will concede, because defensive they were shocking last year and they have done nothing to strengthen that. Koscielny's now gone. He wasn't that great anyway. He was on his last legs, but he's gone. Mustafi's still there, who is a terrible, terrible defender. They were buying in Luiz at the point of recording. I don't know if that deal's actually gone through, but for someone who you're going to hope to rely on, David Luiz is not the player that I think you want to be relying on to kind of hold your defence together. He's shown he can be a bit sort of temperamental and he can go on these mad runs and just think, oh, I'm going to dribble it out from the back, get tackled and concede a goal. So I think Arsenal have enough to score enough goals to get them into the top five. I just think they're going to concede too many and probably play out a few draws and stuff like that, rather than getting enough wins to get them into the top four. So the top four itself, I think 4th will be Manchester United. They've lost Lukaku, but they've brought in Maguire, who I don't think is £80 million worth of defender, but I think there's enough there, enough of a unit there with adding him in and Wan-Bissaka at right back that can really solid up Man United's defence. And in midfield, Pogba is now going to be the main man. This is the year he really, really needs to shine. People have been saying that for the last few years, but this is the year Pogba needs to show that he is worth the 90 plus million that they paid for him. And playing, I think they'll probably start with Rashford up top on his own and play Martial on the wing. More than likely, because I think he's more the natural centre forward than Martial is, but we'll see how that goes. But I think, again, Man United will do the same as Arsenal. I think they'll score enough, but I think they'll just do enough to kind of hold back a few teams, sneak a few 1-0 wins, grind out a few results, and get into that top four. Third, I'm actually going to go controversially, with Liverpool third this time around, because Liverpool haven't really strengthened their squad. They did amazing last year, running City as close as they did, winning the Champions League, but they've not really strengthened, and a lot of their players haven't had a break. Mo Salah went straight to the Africa Cup of Nations, so did Mane. Firmino played in the Copa America, and they've constantly been playing. And I think they're going to hit sort of a mid-season point. I think they'll start well, Liverpool, and they'll probably be in that sort of top 2 sort of area. But I think come January, I think those players are going to start to burn out. And when you take one of those 3 out, Origi did step up sometimes last season, but I think you take one of those main 3 out, Liverpool are nowhere near as good, and they do struggle. So I think they're not going to be run City anywhere close, and I think they could struggle, especially if one of those 3 get injured, and through fatigue that can happen. I think Liverpool are going to struggle, and they're going to end up finishing third this time around. Second, then I'm going to go for Tottenham Hotspur. I don't like saying this, but this is what I think. I have to give my honest opinion. They've strengthened really well in this summer. After going last transfer and spending no money to this one, just shelling out big money. Obviously, they bought in Sessegnon on the last day, the Argentinian midfielder, I can't pronounce his name. They're both really good additions. Again, Tottenham's main problem is they've got no backup for Harry Kane. So if he gets injured, which he lately has prone to do, they could be in trouble. But if they keep him fit, Tottenham have, on paper, maybe the best starting 11 bar City in the league. And I think if they can keep that core team fit, they're in their new stadium now. They ain't got to worry about, are they going to play there, are they not? They're there now. I think Tottenham are going to have a really good season. I think they won't run City close. I think City are going to go win it outright like they did a few years ago. But I think they're going to be head-to-head with Liverpool to finish second. I think Tottenham are just going to have that little bit too much, especially going forward, that they're going to pip Liverpool to second. And then number 1, top of the league, winning it again is really boring, but I have to give my honest opinion, is going to be City. What do you say about City that you haven't already been said? Guardiola's recruitment, they never really sign a lot of players that you really know. Like, oh my god, they've signed Neymar or signed this. They don't. They just sign these really local players who turn out to be amazing. So his scouts are off the charts. But yeah, City are going to win it. I think they'll win it quite comfortably again this year. I think by sort of March time they'll have it wrapped up, and it will just be a sort of clicking over the rest of the season. So I think City are going to win it. There's not really much else I can say there. Cup competition-wise, I'll just do that quickly. It's hard to predict because you never know what season. I would love to see West Ham win a cup. So I'll say maybe West Ham to go win the League Cup. And I think Liverpool will have enough to win maybe a trophy. So maybe Liverpool to win the FA Cup, but they're going to finish third in the league. Anyway, that was my season preview. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll see how many I get right come May, come the end of the season. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.